So today, what are we going over? Does anyone know?
Yes, I know.
What is it?
Hold on, everybody. No, I know. Yes, percent of change.
Percent of change. So this is the only other thing you need to know about percents. Because when they ask for what is the percent of, watching 5 episodes in a 500 episode season, blah, blah, blah. When they ask for the missing piece, you have to think of proportions. You have to think of the part, base, and rate over 100. But the other type of question that might be given is a percent of change problem. A percent of change problem is unique because you're looking for the percent of change. It's pretty much what it is. The percent increase or percent decrease. This is an example of what I mean. Mr. Solana was making $12 an hour at his beautiful job of being an instructor at Green River College. $12 an hour. He was doing so good because he's a genius, and they bump him up. He is now making $20 an hour. No, I said I'm a genius, so they're going to give me more money, Chris. So $20 an hour now, right? And then the question is, what was Mr. Solano's percent of increase? Your mind is going like this. How do you find the percent increase? But that's a very specific question, all right? You know you are going to do the process of a percent of change, a percent of increase, percent of decrease, whatever the case, when you're given a question just like that. When you're given a question that says, what is the percent of change? Or what is the percent increase? Or what is the percent decrease? When they give you something like that, you have to use this method that I'm about to show you. Sticking with the example I just used. I was making how much originally? $12 an hour, right? Because I was a newbie. But then I made, well, they gave me a raise of, we'll solve that in a sec, but I'm making $20 now, right? And they want to know what was the percent increase from what I was making originally to what I'm making now. What is the percent increase? So this is how you solve it. So easy how to solve percent of change problems. That's why today is easy. Today's going to be simple for you guys. So, how do you solve percent of change? Find the difference. What's the difference between 12 and 20? Pretty much by how much did the money go up by? $8, right? 8 is my difference. So step number 1 always is to find the difference of the numbers. That's step number 1. Right? Step number 2. That number that you end up getting, you then have to divide by always the original number. Always. So what was my original number? 12. Then you ask yourself, what is 8 divided by 12? It's a decimal, right? Cool. 8 divided by 12 is what? And it goes on up until it reaches the 7 mark. It doesn't matter, right? You're going to get decimals like this. But then our final thing is to do what? Yes. So this was the number I got, but that's just a decimal. That's not a percent. Do we remember how to convert decimals to percents? No? Simple. Whatever the number it is that you get, you find your decimal, in this case that one right there, and you just have to move it 2 places, and 2 places only, to the right. So you move it 2 places, this decimal right there, and what you end up getting is 66.666667, whatever the rest was, right? But you could round it. Let's say the question says round your percents to the nearest tenths, right? Or if we recall, this is our tenths, which means we look at our friend, which makes this 6 go up 1 to a 7. Guess what? I had a 66.7% increase in my pay. That is how you solve percent of change. Simple. Pretty straightforward, right? You're done. So one more example. Okay. Before her, oh wow, I already used the raise example. I wanted something different, but whatever. Before her raise, Lisa earned $10.50 per hour. Now she earns $11.34 per hour. What percent raise did her boss give her? So, don't shout out any numbers just yet. How about you shout out the steps? What should I do first? Find the difference of the numbers, right? So then you find the difference of, what are my two numbers? 1050 and 1134, right? So you find the difference. You guys will have a calculator. But if you don't remember, you line up the decimals and you subtract, right? What's 4 minus 0? What's 3 minus 5? Can't be done. So then you have to do, what's 13 minus 5? Bring down the decimal. What's 0 minus 0? What's 1 minus 0? So the difference is 0.84, right? So, shout out the next step. What am I supposed to do next? Yes. You get that number that you just found, 0.84, and you divide it by the original number, which in this case is, yes, $10.50, right? 10.5. And what you end up getting, by the way, there's going to be a lot of these, so whip out that calculator and start being a master at the calculator. What you end up getting is, what was it? 0.08. Then what's my last and final step? Whatever your number is, whatever decimal number you end up with, or it could even be a whole number, you must always move the decimal places 2 places to the right. So you get this and you move it 2 places, so it goes there. So now your final percent is 8%. 8%. And yeah, like I just said, let's say you did this method right here, you found the difference, you then divided, and you ended up getting a whole number, 5. Where's the decimal place here? It's right there. It's hidden. But there is a decimal, right? You start there and you move it 2 places. Your final result being 1/500%, which does exist. In business world, you could go way more than 100%, right? Yeah.
Why about two steps?
Huh?
Why 2 steps?
Why 2 steps? Don't ask why. Just do it. Don't ever ask why. You get too much in the spiral of math. Why? What? Yeah. Calm down, Danny. Calm down. Just know, you guys, move it 2 places. If you want to convert a decimal to a percent, you move it 2 places to the right. Or if you're given a percent, listen up. If you're given a percent, 80%, and you want to convert it back into a decimal, what must you do? You move it 2 places to the left. Now, move what to the left? The decimal. Where's the decimal in this specific place? Well, guess what? It's still there. It is still there, behind the whole number. So you move that 2 places. Oops. You move it 2 places, and guess what? It's 0.8. Right? Sometimes you're lucky and you'll get a percent like that. That's easy to spot. That's the decimal's right there, obviously. So then you move that. 0.652. Percents to decimals. Decimals or whole numbers. 2%. But the most important part of today was my steps. Once again, what were my steps? Say it out loud. What's step number 1?
Find the original, how much?
I was hoping in some miracle everyone would be so synchronized and like it'll be kind of like an army chant, everyone just saying it. But that was really bad. Step number 1, find the difference of your two numbers, right? So going back to this example, my two numbers was 1050 and 1134. You find the difference, 0.84, right? 84 cents. You then get that and you always divide by the original. What's the original? My 1050, right? Whatever number you get when you do that operation, your final step is to convert to percent by always moving to the right 2 places and boom, you got it. You found your percent of change. And this was, I already gave you 2 examples of percent of increase. We have not done one of percent of decrease, but it's the same thing. Just a different type of wording, such as before her raise, Lisa earned $10.50 per hour. Now she earns $9.50. That's because she was bad at her job and they, demoted her because she was horrible, right? What percent decrease did her boss give her? Same thing. Find the difference of the numbers. Whatever number you get, divide by the original. Whatever number you get, convert to percent, and boom, you're done. You found your percent decrease. Woo! That one was pretty straightforward, pretty simple, right? Now, there's a reason why we're just doing this for today. There's a reason why. Do we know what we're doing tomorrow? Quiz! We're doing a quiz tomorrow. And we're going to be covering the whole week. So, what do we do on Monday? Something. Ratio and proportions, right? What did we do yesterday? We did percent proportions, right? Part, base, rate, all that. And then today, the simple percent of change, right? All of that in preparation for tomorrow's quiz. So expect all of this tomorrow. You can use calculators. So, are we ready for the practice sheet today?